Certification is not achieved by intent alone. It is proven through evidence. In this topic, we'll turn ISO IEC 42001 expectations into practical documents, architecture records, and reusable proof that your AIMS is implemented, operating, and audit-ready. We've built the foundation, designed the controls, and planned implementation. Now the focus shifts from design to proof. The policies, records, decisions, approvals, and evidence that show the AIMS is working and ready for assessment, audit, and certification. An AIMS evidence pack is more than a folder for auditors. It is the bridge between what your AI management system says and what the organization actually does. Documentation defines intent, scope, policies, objectives, roles, and procedures. Operational evidence shows those controls running in practice through approvals, risk assessments, logs, tests, monitoring, incidents, and management reviews. Architecture evidence connects both layers to real AI systems: data flows, models, APIs, users, and environments. When these pieces stay linked, audits move faster, findings are easier to resolve, and governance can be repeated across the AI portfolio. The AIMS documentation set creates the evidence trail for the management system. Governance documents define the boundaries and intent: scope, policy, objectives, roles, and decision-making. Risk documents show how AI risks are identified, assessed, accepted, and treated. Control documents turn those decisions into procedures, owners, implementation plans, and monitoring expectations. Operational records prove the system is running through training, reviews, incidents, audits, and corrective actions. Auditors are not looking for paperwork volume. They are looking for a coherent chain from commitment to risk to controls to evidence. Scope and inventory act as the index for the entire AI management system. Scope defines the perimeter: which business units, platforms, suppliers, locations, lifecycle stages, and AI categories are included and which are excluded. The inventory turns that perimeter into accountable records for each AI system: purpose, owner, risk level, data sources, model type, deployment status, and users. This matters because evidence should trace from a system to its risks, controls, assessments, architecture, and operating records. If something is excluded, document why and review it. Unsupported exclusions are a common source of audit gaps. AI governance comes down to two connected questions: what did leadership intend, and how do we know people acted on it? The AI policy sets direction, aligned to strategy, risk appetite, responsible AI principles, law, and ISO 42001. Objectives turn that direction into measurable outcomes that can be monitored and reviewed. Accountability records prove the system is operating. Approvals, KPI tracking, RACI assignments, committee minutes, training attestations, and role records. Auditors need to see both clear commitments and evidence that responsibilities were actually assigned and exercised. Strong AI risk evidence starts with a repeatable method. Define the categories, scoring scales, impact dimensions, likelihood criteria, treatment choices, and escalation thresholds before teams begin assessing systems. Then capture each identified risk in a register: the affected AI system, root cause, consequence, inherent risk, controls, residual risk, owner, and review status. Impact assessments extend the view beyond operations to people, society, safety, security, compliance, and rights. The audit trail is completed through approvals, treatment decisions, accepted risks, stakeholder input, and periodic reassessment, showing that risk is actively governed over time. The applicability statement is the control map for your AI management system. It says which ISO 46001 controls apply, which do not, why that decision was made, who owns each control, how far implementation has progressed, and what evidence proves it. The procedure library then turns those control decisions into repeatable work: model approval, data quality review, prompt testing, access review, monitoring, and incident response. Together, they connect risk treatment to day-to-day execution. Auditors should be able to trace any control from requirement to procedure to evidence to review frequency and escalation path. Architecture evidence shows that governance is built into the AI system, not added as paperwork afterwards. It connects the technical path from source data and transformations through training, evaluation, registry, deployment, monitoring, and human oversight. For each stage, the evidence should answer 4 questions. What data was used? What controls applied? Who approved it? And how issues are detected? Key artifacts include architecture diagrams, data lineage records, model and system cards, approval gates, dashboards, and incident procedures. The goal is traceability. Every risk treatment and governance requirement should map to a real component, control, or operational process. Cards make technical evidence easier to reuse at different levels of the AI stack. A data card explains where the data came from, whether it was lawfully collected, how representative it is, and what limits apply. A model card documents how the model was trained, tested, intended to be used, and where it may fail. A system card connects everything to the real operating environment: users, oversight, integrations, controls, and fallback paths. Together, they turn scattered technical details into assurance evidence, making reviews faster and audits less dependent on memory or individual experts. Before an AI system is released, evidence should show that it passed each readiness gate, not just that someone approved it. Start with who made the decision, what criteria they used, what risks were accepted, and what conditions remain. Then connect that approval to test reports covering performance, robustness, fairness, explainability, security, privacy, safety, and misuse checks. Validation should be separated by stage: development testing, independent review, pre-production validation, and post-deployment confirmation. For generative AI, include prompt injection, harmful output, grounding, retrieval accuracy, red team results, and guardrail effectiveness. After an AI system goes live, governance shifts from design evidence to operating evidence. Monitoring records show whether the model is still performing as expected, including drift, data quality, bias signals, safety events, latency, and threshold breaches. Dashboards turn those signals into action by showing status, trends, owners, review dates, and escalation history. Access reviews prove that permissions remain appropriate for users, admins, service accounts, and privileged roles. Incident logs close the loop by capturing what happened: impact, containment, root cause, corrective actions, communication, and lessons learned. Together, these records make oversight auditable and continuous. An evidence repository is not just a shared folder. It is the traceability engine for the aims. Each artifact should be searchable from several angles: the AI system it supports, the ISO 4021 requirement, the control, the risk, the lifecycle stage, the owner, the date, and the audit purpose. That requires disciplined metadata, naming conventions, version control, retention rules, approval status, and access permissions. The goal is audit efficiency. When evidence is requested, you can prove freshness, ownership, completeness, and the link between risks, controls, records, and corrective actions. At certification stage, evidence has to tell a clear audit story. Package artifacts around the logic of ISO 42001, scope, leadership, planning, support, operations, performance evaluation, improvement, and applicable annex controls. Then validate each item. Is it complete, current, approved, consistent, protected, and owned by someone who can explain it? The evidence index becomes the bridge, mapping each clause or control to the exact artifact, location, and owner. Finally, run a pre-audit review to catch missing records, expired approvals, weak links, and unsupported claims. The main lesson is simple. Certification readiness depends on evidence that is documented, traceable, and current. Your AIMS evidence pack should connect management system documents, AI architecture artifacts, and operational records to specific systems, risks, controls, owners, dates, and audit needs. Next, you will use this foundation to assess gaps, evaluate control maturity, and prepare for audit.